Scalpel. Thank you. Hope I get this right. I haven't slept in days. Oh no! Oh no!
I heard you can throw the football really well, Commish.
I can throw the football just as well as I like my rubs. Watch this. What? Objection, Your Honor. He's badgering the witness.
Sustained.
All right, so just finish off this next line of billion lines of code, and I'll have those guys betting all their money. There's no way they're gonna win at fantasy anymore, all this, betting. Anyways, I'm gonna call my bro. I gotta see what's happening. Hello? Hey bro, what's poppin'? Dak still making you wet dream? Baby, it's all good, bro. Oh, I got mustard on my favorite shirt. You know what, bro? I don't even know who to set up all this week in my lineup. Well, if you go this linebacker from Washington, they're paying a run-first offense, so that linebacker is guaranteed to get a bunch of volume, and that's how you will win this one. You the best, man. How the hell do you know all this? You see any women around, bro? Good point, my brother. Good point. You know what? Thanks for all you did for this. There's no way I could ever win without you. I know this. Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Commish, back here with our last draft preview of the year, and the off-season journey finally ends here, other than our mock draft, which will take place on the 26th. And I hope I can find one more owner that's willing to participate in that draft. But today we're talking about Ryan and Deuce Bombers, the last team in the American division, and I would say probably that division's pretty wide open for Ryan and possibly Chris and no more. I think the rest of the teams are going to have some challenges. But it's not like Ryan's team comes without its faults either, just like any other team. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'll get right into his preview. Here we go. Ryan and Deuce Bombers. So keepers, as of today, you're going with Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs at quarterback. Might be missing a weapon early on. Rashee Rice likely to get suspended due to his, I guess, obviously criminal activities. And then obviously Kelsey's getting up there in years. So, I'm sure they're looking at replenishing the wide receiver room. Obviously, they tried with Xavier Worthy last year. I think teams are getting better in that division, right? Like before, Kansas City just dominated, but the Chargers, I think, are getting better, right? They've drafted running backs, they're drafting wide receivers. Lad McConkey looks great. Entering year 2, Trey Harris is there. Team's getting super young. Bo Nix in Denver, right? They've drafted Harvey. They also have guys like Veli at wide receiver, so they've got younger. And the Raiders are even getting better, right? They picked Ashton Gianti to lead the charge for them. Geno Smith is obviously better than Aiden O'Connell. So it's going to get a little bit more challenging, I feel, for Mahomes to put up the points he used to against the divisional opponents. But still, obviously, an elite quarterback to have. The running backs, a couple of bell cows, right? Jonathan Taylor, you got him from me late last year. And this guy is the definition of a bell cow. Not only that, but during his time with the University of Wisconsin, they ran the wheels off this guy, right? But if it's one thing that I would say, that's my only concern about Taylor. The wheels have been screeching and running off this guy ever since college. Brees Hall, I know he's had his injury concerns already entering the year league, and I don't know. I've been hearing chatter about Isaiah Davis and even Braylon Allen, the big running back there, eating into some of his carries. So I don't know if Brees Hall's the true bell cow that he once was, but clearly he's going to dominate the snaps in New York. Looking at the wide receivers you're keeping, right now I see you keeping DK Metcalf, right? Obviously, interesting scenario there in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. Is he better than Russell Wilson? I think so, right? I think he'll do better, but we'll have to see how Pittsburgh looks. It's a completely reshaped team. DK Metcalf, obviously a huge receiver, talented, athletic receiver. Xavier Legette is your other wide receiver you're keeping. I think that's a smoke screen. I don't think you're going to be keeping Legette. I think you're going to end up keeping someone like, obviously, Chris Olave, maybe Tank Bigsby, maybe Demario Davis or Douglas, sorry. I just don't see it keeping Xavier Legette, especially since he was being challenged last year in that wide receiver room, and Adam Thielen really beat him out for the job, right? So I know you're not keeping Leggett. It's likely going to be, I think, Chris Olave. So that's definitely a smokescreen. And then Jared Verse, DL for the Rams. This guy's projected to get some big numbers week one, 7.41. So clearly they're expecting Verse to make the leap this year. If I looked at any other potential IDP keepers you had, I didn't see really anyone other than Jared Verse. I guess you could throw maybe Bradley Chubb in the mix if he's able to bounce back, but Jared Verse, obviously young. So you're obviously trying to go with the ascending talent, which makes a lot of sense, especially in a big market like LA. Here's where things get interesting, right? So pick one, you got pick four. What a pick to have, right? What a year to have a top pick. I feel the amount of running backs available in this draft is unlike any other draft I've seen in a long time, right? So I think this is the year to try to get your running back for the next decade, right? And I think you tried to obviously drafted Brees Hall, I think, a couple years back, didn't you? And obviously you were trying to do the same thing with Jonathan Brooks, just didn't work out in that trade, and it cost you some draft capital. No three, no four, no five. I know all those picks weren't part of the trade, but that's going to hurt you, right? Because obviously you're going to get a great talent at four, some rookie new keeper that's going to take over for somebody that's maybe weaker in your lineup. Pick 35, you should be able to get some decent talent there too. But no three, no four, no five. That's when other teams that have a lot of picks in those rounds are going to be already filling out the offense, right? So then those teams will be moving on to defense, which might make it so that you have to move on to defense at round six, right? Because if linebackers are already going off the board by round four and five, top linebackers, what's going to be left, right? Or maybe you go back to depth. You're just going to have to go best available around six. You do have the 2 7s, the 2 8s, and the 3 9s, which are obviously going to extremely help you late in the latter half of the first 10 rounds here. And it does put you in a position where you do have 10 and 10. And then this is where I think a lot of people on the poll so far have picked you to win the American Division Championship this year. And I'm sure it feels good for you to finally get back up to the top. You had a couple of cheaters in that division, which prevented you from being, part of the elite that I think you are in that division. And it'd be nice to see you get back home to the top, but to have those 10 picks in 11 round 11 to 14, that's where you're probably going to be filling out the depth anyway, right? So whoever was filling their offense out in round three, you might be getting the same type of talent in round 11, right? You just never know. It starts to become a wash, right? After the initial keepers and maybe the first couple of rounds. No pick in round 16 here, but you do have 14 picks in this part of the 10 rounds, which again, I think, by the end of round 14, we have a good sense that you're likely going to be a contender in this league. just because of all the positions mostly your positions will be filled by then. And then this is what you want to see, right? Rounds 21 to 29, obviously only 5 picks, right? So you don't want to be having 20 picks in these last 9 rounds or 15 or 17 because it likely means it's going to be a long year for you. I know some teams keepers can win them games by themselves, right? Like you have Lamar Jackson putting up 60 and then maybe a Malik Neighbors putting up 40. That's 100 points right there between two players. So it makes it hard, obviously, for other teams to catch up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there in that regard. Looking at your projected first pick here, a likely first pick, I think you're going to go best available. And the reason why I say you're going to go best available, because when I look at the top 4 picks in this draft, it's definitely Gianti, Hampton, Henderson, and Hunter, right? Those are the 4 guys going first. I think it's pretty clear, unless somebody likes Harvey or Caleb Johnson more than Henderson, or maybe even more than Hampton, right? But I do think your projected first pick, obviously, if Travian Henderson falls to you at 4, being a Patriots fan, pretty clear who you're going, right? If Travian Henderson gets picked in the top 3 for whatever reason, you're going Travis Hunter, because I think he'll be the best available because I see the teams ahead of you picking running backs, potentially. The only person that I could see taking Hunter is going to be Brian with pick 2. So it really just depends on if Brian likes Hunter, then I see you getting Henderson. If he doesn't, then I see you getting Hunter. That's kind of how I see it, because I do think Kalen at 3 likely is going to go running back. It is a running back draft this year, so. And then the storylines for us here, Ryan. Well, just like I said with Milan's preview here a couple of days ago, 12 years, bro. We've aged 12 years together. That's over a decade, man. I just want to say I really appreciate your loyalty to the league. I think you're a great dude, right? And you're a good competitor. And I hope you do find the league exciting. I do think that the LOC is back, right? I will say that this being the last preview, I'm ready to turn the corner on prior owners that were in this league. I just had to take one last shot at just the ridiculousness of the last 5 years I've had to endure trying to make this a great league for everybody. And I think that people obviously know this is a fun league, right? I try to make it entertaining for all of us. And yeah, I just glad that you're a part of it and want you to be a part of it for a long time. And the last storyline here for you, man, is division's wide open for you, I think, for the taking for you. I think your biggest challenge is Chris and no more. And Kristen O'More is the kind of guy that will make the trades to try to be competitive, right? So I wouldn't count him out. Shep and Banjo Blitz as great keepers. He put the money in, so he might very well look at making trades just to try to win too. So watch out for him possibly because he will have his picks to trade. And everybody has their picks to trade. So that's what's going to make things interesting. But I just want to say, Ryan, it's been great having you here. You're a great owner, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you get back to the top of the America division where you have been for so many years in this league in the 12 years you've been here. So good luck this year, man. And that's it, folks.